Hey folks, and welcome back to Glenn and Adrian's Rock Talk. That's Adrian.
And that's Glenn.
And today, we're going to go back to Humble Pie, who we have covered way in the past. Part of that was because we were always looking for videos for it's a feature, and this will not have a video. It's just an audio reaction. But it's one of those songs that I've heard here and there, not really listened to very carefully, but it intrigued me, so I wanted to take a look at it. This song is called Live With Me, and it's the opening track on their third album, which is eponymous. It's also called Humble Pie. And it was written, the credit went to the entire band for this one. So my guess is it started as a jam and then there were lyrics added. I'm not sure for absolute positive who wrote the lyrics, but I think Peter Frampton may have been it. Now, Humble Pie got together in the first place because Steve Marriott of the Small Faces and Peter Frampton of the Herd were both kind of these teen idols. That's how the record company was selling them. And they were pretty much fed up with that and said they wanted to be taken seriously. And so they started this band together, in hopes of becoming taken more seriously. So by this time, it's 1970. The first two albums, they're not bad at all. I've heard Town and Country. I like that one a lot. This one, I think, is a little bit heavier. It's not quite the level of heavy you hear on their big live albums, but it's got some great moments on it. So this particular song also features both Steve and Peter singing different parts of it. And you can tell it's two different singers, kind of. I think they trade off here and there. They have similar voices. So, Adrian, have you heard this song?
I don't think I have, no.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at it then. Opening track on Humble Pie from 1970. Here we go. Nice backing vocals. No, it's interesting on this. Peter Frampton plays the organ, not the guitar.
The Steve Marriott sings a great range.
Oh Oh, he is a heck of a singer. A lot of people call him their favorite singer. This is Steve on guitar.
It started out pretty mellow, and then the vocals come in, it's starting to build up and start rocking.
Very soulful. That's Peter, that second one. Peter organ solo, all right. I think maybe Steve's singing the verses and Pete's singing the chorus line. That's Peter.
That was pretty cool, I thought.
Yeah, a nice heavy song.
Oh, yeah.
Almost Vanilla Fudge-like. Kind of, you know.
It's good. Like there was a lot of Hammond organ in that. I always like that. It's always a good thing.
Yep, slow, deliberative Hammond organ, and just the whole thing kind of sludged along. Not in a self-conscious way, but in a blues soul way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was real nice. Yeah, I have heard that song. I haven't heard it that much lately. God, it's been a long time. And I knew that you probably hadn't heard it. And that's the first time I've been able to differentiate the voices. You think I was right on those?
I wasn't really able to tell between Steve and Peter singing.
Well, Steve's got a harsher voice. He's got more grit in his vocals, and he can reach really high notes too. And Pete is a little bit more rounded on the edges, I guess. Like he also can crack his voice, up there, and vocal fry. It's where they go, like you got the extra grit and stuff in there, and it's kind of, it sounds like the voice is kind of breaking up. So Steve, that's kind of Steve's thing, and Pete is more fluid, and Peter would be more like Paul McCartney, and Steve would be more like John Lennon.
Again, it was good to hear the Hammond organ in the background, and I liked hearing some of the guitar work too. This was really my first time hearing the song.
Well, I liked the drum sound on this recording a lot. It was thunderous. It was, wherever they had the mics in the room was the right place. It was not too terribly far from Zeppelin-sounding drums in some ways. Although I know that Page used to improvise quite a bit on where and how they would record Bonzo. But this just had that nice big feeling of a drum kit. For that time period, a lot of times you would still hear the drums just on like one channel and kind of way down in the mix. It all depended. Sometimes it was nice and big, but usually it wasn't. By this time, Black Sabbath had dropped, but only a few months previous.
I'll have to listen to this a couple more times.
Yeah, well, it's not just this song, too. It's also this whole time period. You can think of it that way. You can think of it as everything we're looking at. This is 1970, right? Yeah. So you put that in context. The drums had only just started getting big. I mean, like the White Album, the Beatles, 1968, the drums were still way kind of in the back. Maybe it was some of those Stones albums that came out, like, I don't even know. I don't think Beggar's Banquet even qualifies, but maybe after that, maybe Let It Bleed or something, and moving forward. Finally, you started getting a nice thick sound on drums on a lot of rock songs, and this was kind of the beginning of that. And so these sounded really good. I'll bet you when people bought this album and got it home, they're like, oh, nice, the drums sound great on this. But yeah, Zeppelin was underway too, so it was getting to be a thing, but it was a new thing still. So, okay, yep, and of course recorded Olympic Studios, producer Glyn Johns, of course the Get Back guy, or one of the Get Back guys. Glyn Johns, very famous guy, worked a lot with the Stones, as a matter of fact. On the very matter of fact, he worked, now that I'm looking at it, producer Glyn Johns, albums he worked on include many of the albums I just mentioned. Let It Bleed, Beggar's Banquet, and Led Zeppelin's debut album. So, makes perfect sense. Okay, so with that, folks, let us know what you thought of that song, or if you're familiar with that song or that album. For the longest time, the only Humble Pie I ever heard was that album. It's probably why I didn't play it that often, but I thought it sounded good, and it had some great stuff on it. Let us know what you thought of this song, and if you have other suggestions for us, please leave those below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And if you enjoyed our presentation, please subscribe. All right. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll catch you on the next one. All right. Take care, folks.
See y'all later.